Welcome to Recap Our Studio.
Only the most broken people can be great leaders.
Wakanda Kingdom seems to be going through emotional difficulties after T'Challa's death and is susceptible to assaults from many countries. The majority of these countries want to get vibranium, their secret weapon. However, Chiri was attempting to recreate herbs before to the murder of their king since Judoka or Killmonger had burned all of the plants in Wakanda. Tchala was now in serious condition and urgently needed to herb. Chiri attempted to utilize every technology available in Wakanda, but she was unsuccessful. She was informed that Tchala had died by the Queen of Wakanda who had arrived. The Black Panther was taken to his last resting place by the Wakandan populace as well as by all of T'Challa's family, who were all greatly heartbroken by his passing. The Queen of Wakanda attended a United Nations gathering a year later. Other countries put pressure on Wakanda at the summit to distribute the vibranium, as promised in the Hala. They were informed by the Queen Ramona that Wakanda would not share its vibranium with other countries. She was concerned that people might use the vibranium as weapons to murder one another. Wakanda's loss of the Black Panther as its guardian was also taken into account while making this choice. Nevertheless, this did not imply that Wakanda had collapsed, rather, they had fortified their defenses in order to safeguard the vibranium. As proof, Okoye and the warriors detained and destroyed the French army that had attempted to take the vibranium from Wakanda's mine. The Queen Ramonda issued a warning to everyone not to underestimate Wakanda and in particular not to utilize the vibranium illegally in the Atlantic Ocean at night based on the proof of the army's arrest. In their mission to locate vibranium in the water, the CIA operatives employed the new vibranium detector. They located the little vibranium they were seeking for with the aid of the detecting gadget. To examine the psyche, it was commanded that several divers descend to the ocean's depths. But soon after, one by one, the divers inexplicably vanished. A few minutes later, the crew of the ship was enticed to leap into the water by the sound of singing coming from the ocean's depths. Following that, several unidentified blue-skinned individuals ascended the ship and murdered all of the CIA operatives inside. Hundreds of people perished in that tragedy. Only Valentina, the expedition's commander, was able to rescue herself. Following the occurrence, the CIA operatives claimed Wakanda was responsible for the mass murder. Chiri declined the Queen Ramonda's request to burn the white cloaks with her that evening as a sign that they had accepted T'Challa's passing since she was still mourning him. Something appeared out of nowhere in the pitch black near the lake. The commander of the Blue-Skinned People's Army, Namor, was the one who first attacked the CIA spies. Chiri and the Queen Ramonda were taken aback by Namor's ability to evade Wakanda's sophisticated security. Namor arrived in Wakanda to express his displeasure, and he accused Tchala of doing so by telling others about vibranium's existence. Many individuals attempted to take the vibranium because of him, even at the ocean's bottom. Evidently, as in Wakanda, there was a vibranium mine somewhere. He instructed the Ramonda the Queen to apprehend the scientist who created the vibranium detector. If the monarch declined attacking Wakanda would be Namor and his troops. The next day, when Shuri and Okoye visited Old Ross to determine who the scientists were that Namor had mentioned, they learned that Riri Williams, an MIT undergraduate, had created the vibranium detector. Riri was invited to go to Wakanda by Shuri. Before departing, Riri brought Chiri and Okoye to her base so they could help her pack. She completed her whole research there. They astounded Chiri and Okoye. Before they departed, the FBI appeared out of nowhere and encircled Riri in his area. Riri then fled on a motorbike. Riri used her own iron-hard suit to escape, while Okoye used her automobile to flee. When they finally managed to get away from the FBI, Namor's soldiers unexpectedly attacked them. All of the FBI employees were slain by the army's commanders, Attila and Nomura, who also engaged Okoye, who was alone himself, in combat. Because Okoye was unable to battle their whole crew alone, she was ultimately victorious. Then, Namor's troops abducted Riri and Shuri and sent them to Talokan, an underwater realm. Okoye reported on all that had occurred to Wakanda. When she attempted to defend Princess Chiri, she was overpowered by Namor's troops. Unfortunately, the Queen Ramonda rejected her justification. Okoye was relieved of her duties. Nakia, who resided in Haiti, was visited by the Queen Ramonda. She requested her assistance in locating Chiri after informing her that she had been abducted. Soon after, locals gave Nakia information about the kingdom of the Talakans' location. She was taken to meet Namor at the same time. Namor revealed his history to Chiri. He had apparently been alive for a very long time. Back then, Neymar's mother's pregnancy was hampered by an unknown illness. She and other locals were given a treatment in the form of liquid plants that had been discovered at the sea's bottom. The herb resembled urban Wakanda, except it was blue instead. When the mother of the Neymar and the locals drank the traditional doctor's cure, their skin went blue. In the land, they were likewise unable to breathe properly. Neymar was born in the water as a result of it. He was the first human to be born after that enigmatic event. Neymar developed into a unique youngster who was endowed with a unique ability and tiny wings on his legs. Prior to Neymar's mother's death, she said that she wanted to be buried in her hometown. Her and other people traveled to the area to bury his mother due to the name. However, they were shocked to discover that the Spanish colonial army had enslaved many of the people when they got to the settlement. Neymar murdered them all in his rage upon seeing it. Neymar had developed a hatred towards people after that event. He aspired to control the whole planet. He requested Wakanda's cooperation. Wakanda would be the first country Neymar will demolish if they reject. Then Neymar asked Chiri to see the Wakanda Kingdom's stunning views. In recognition of Chiri being the first person to see the Wakanda country, he also gifts her a bracelet. Neymar unexpectedly got a call from the Queen Ramona while they were still talking. It turned out to be just a ploy. Following Neymar's departure, Nakia arrived to save Chiri and Riri. Neymar saw Nakia's actions as a call to war. In order to assault Wakanda, where people live in peace, he collected his army. Nakia was meeting Okoye while M'Baka was scouring the area. Shortly later, Neymar and his army destroyed Wakanda's protective wall. They encountered challenges as a result of their attacks on Wakanda in many different ways. Ramonda the Queen then gave the order for her soldiers to remove everyone who had escaped the onslaught. M'Baku attempted to take against Neymar's troops, but Neymar ultimately triumphed. Shuri attempted to shoot Neymar from an aircraft, but she was unable since the player moves so quickly underwater. Queen Ramona and Riri Williams were drowned by Neymar's onslaught with water. While still awake, Queen Ramonda attempted to rescue Riri, but sadly, she perished as a result. Neymar has no regrets about his actions. If Wakanda won't deliver Riri Williams to him, he threatened to return in a week. He became the sole heir to the throne who was still alive as a result of the death of Queen Ramona. Shuri didn't want to be in mourning for too long since she is still angry. She made an effort to keep researching herbs in order to get the Black Panther superpower and exact vengeance on the Tchala Empire. Neymar gave Shuri a piece of jewelry, which she used. She assumed that herbs were also used to make the bracelet. Together, Shuri and Riri develop a variety of weaponry. She donned Okoye's brand new outfit, which included several weapons and protections. In order to employ the Iron Heart suits in the battles, Riri also attempted to enhance them. His efforts weren't in vain, Shuri. She eventually discovered the effective herb regrowth recipe. The plant was broken down by Nakia and given to Shuri. Shuri was supposed to discover the Queen Ramonda in the land of the ancestors, but that wasn't the case. She instead came upon her cousin, a Killmonger. When Shuri first encountered Killmonger, she was shocked and enraged. She felt as if our forebears had abandoned her. Killmonger, who she also detested, said that they had met there because they had similar traits. Both of them had great aspirations to get retribution. Killmonger also allegedly informed her that all ex-Black Panthers were cowards. To prevent the emergence of the next Black Panther, he destroyed all the plants. But now he recognized Shuri as a powerful Black Panther. Following that, Shuri awoke and felt upset because she hadn't met her forefathers. Nakia believed their experiment was a failure. Shuri really did possess the Black Panther superpower, it turned out. That superpower made Shuri more determined to do retribution. At first, M'Baku argued with Shuri's choice, but Shuri didn't want to hear him. The Wakandan army was ready to assault the Wakanda Kingdom the next day. They were utilizing a ship to get to Wakanda. Shuri enticed Neymar and his army to the water's surface when they arrived in the midst of the ocean. Finally, a conflict between two kingdoms erupted. What sort of assault Wakanda launched early in the conflict? They just came to the realization that the Taliban's force was large. Riri and Shuri engaged Neymar head-on from different angles while wearing their Ironheart and Black Panther suits, respectively. By enticing Neymar into the aircraft she had set to dry him out, she was able to capture him. Neymar will be brought to a desert by Shuri so that they may battle there. After learning that Neymar had been apprehended, the Wakanda army is to withdraw, under M'Baku's orders. However, Neymar destroyed their ship's machine, rendering them immobile. The Wakanda army then reversed the situation and cornered the Wakanda force. Neymar and Shuri engaged in a heated desert brawl at the same moment. Neymar was strong, even after losing his leg wings, he was still able to battle and stab Shuri with a spear. She was able to get the spear out of her body and burn Neymar's corpse when he made an attempt to return to the ocean because he desperately needed water. She unexpectedly had a vision from Queen Ramona as she attempted to murder Neymar. Because she didn't want any violence in their country, the queen requested that Chiri allow Neymar to go. Finally giving in to Chiri, Neymar consented to join his ally. As a result of that choice, the Talokan army and the Wakanda army reunited and became friends. After the conflict, Wakanda's herbs eventually began to grow again. Chiri offered Riri a vehicle as a goodbye present before departing Wakanda. Due to Neymar's surrender to Wakanda, Namera was enraged with him in Talokan.